Hey, it's my first video of what's for dinner, and today I'm making balls. Meatballs are my go-to recipe when I have to feed a crowd. And while I'm not feeding a crowd today, I am going out of town. So I need lots of leftovers for the family. So we have 2 pounds of ground beef from my favorite butcher. Let me grab a teaspoon for the salt. Here we go. A teaspoon of sea salt. I don't measure everything, but some things I get in there. All right, here's where we stop measuring. So we got some onion powder. Just sprinkle that over. I have roasted garlic powder. So good. All right, I used minced onions just because kids don't really like the chopped onions in there. This gives us a nice onion flavor without, I'll do a little more, without being too oniony. I'll put probably a 1/4 cup in there. Then I have Italian herbs, which I should have opened before starting recording. You could use any kind of herbs that you like, basil, oregano, rosemary. I like using the Italian herbs because it's everything mixed up in one. So I do a generous tablespoon of the Italian herbs. And then Worcestershire. No, I never say that right. Worcestershire, but we're using 3 tablespoons with the 2 pounds of ground beef. That's 1, 2, and 3. Nice things about meatballs is you can really do whatever you want. Whatever ingredients you like. Mix it up, mix up the meat. Sometimes I use pork as well, but this one's just beef. We have Frank's Red Hot. We put that on everything, right? We'll do, I don't know, 10 good shakes or so. It doesn't really add spice, but it adds pretty good flavor. But for spice, I'm gonna go ahead and add, whoopsies, crushed red pepper flakes. Just, I don't know, 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon, depends on how spicy you like it. All right, now we're gonna mix this all together. Get the spices blended through the meat. Use your hands, you can use a spoon, whatever your preferences are. Just so everything gets all mixed and incorporated. Look at that, looks good, right? I'll be right back and wash my hands. All right, so next up we are going to add a 1/2 cup of cheese, grated Italian cheese. I like Romano. Sometimes I'll use Parmesan, but today I'm using Romano, so we're gonna do a good 1/2 cup of that right on top of the meat. A little bit more. A little extra cheese never hurt anybody. All right, and then I use panko. I just like the texture of it better in the meat, so we're gonna do a full cup for the 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm also gonna get my other container going. And then on top of that, we're gonna add 2/3 cup of skim milk. Now in my meatballs, growing up, I used to put egg in there. I don't put egg anymore. The milk seems to do a great job of binding everything together. I don't know why I use skim, I just do. All right, so 2/3 cup. Again, you'll see I'm not like, expert measurer. Just mix everything in, it works out. All right, I let that sit just a minute or 2 so the breadcrumbs soften and it soaks up. While that is happening, let me get my oven prepared. I'm gonna do, you can't see me here. We're gonna do 425 degrees. Another thing, I bake my meatballs. I know a lot of people do them on the stovetop. I do not like the grease spatter everywhere. So I bake them at 425 for, I don't know, 20, 22, 25 minutes. All right. Like I said, it's my first video. I didn't have everything prepared like I should have in front of me. But let's get out the pan. Whoa! What's going on in here? Alright, so we have our big pan. How many does this make? I would say a good 30 meatballs this should make with the 2 pounds of meat. I use the tray, cover it with foil just to make cleanup a little bit easier at the end. Now, time to mix. Here's what I look like. We're gonna mix in the breadcrumbs and the cheese and the milk. So it's all nicely blended. Again, I use my hands if you don't like touching the meat. A spoon will work. Just make sure everything blended in there. All this goodness. So my son thought it would be a good idea for me to start a YouTube channel. And I figured I didn't really know what I would be good at, but I cook. I cook at least 3 or 4 days a week, sometimes 5. All right, I'll show you this. It's all mixed. Just take like a palmful, I guess you could call it. Form it into a meatball. We're gonna put it on the tray. And that's it. Keep it going in 20 minutes. So depending on the size, you might have to go up to 25 minutes. You'll have some yummy meatballs that you can cover in your favorite sauce. Don't tell anybody I use jarred sauce. You can make a meatball sandwich, meatball panini, put it on top of spaghetti, whatever you like. So, I'll recap the ingredients. 2 pounds of ground beef. Then we add in about a teaspoon of sea salt. I'm gonna say a good 2 teaspoons of onion powder, garlic powder, about a 1/4 cup of minced onions, maybe 3 tablespoons. Let's see, about a pinch of red pepper flakes. Then we do about 8 to 10 shakes of the Frank's Red Hot and 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Mix that all together. Then you're gonna add in a 1/2 cup of Parmesan or Romano grated cheese, another cup of panko and 2/3 cup of milk. Mix everything together, make a meatball, and bake at 425, again for 20 to 25 minutes. I hope you enjoy the meatballs.